Welcome back, dear students. So today we will be discussing about the second last part of the chapter, in fact, known as feedback amplifiers. Okay, so we have done different types of amplifiers in the types of biasing techniques, and we classified amplifiers into many types and how they can be coupled from one stage to the other. First, we saw the single stage CE amplifier. Then, if I'm not getting the required amplification, we can join two stages together. That is known as coupling or cascading. So how to join two stages, we also that in the previous parts. Please check the playlist class 11 for the previous parts of this chapter. This chapter is way lengthy because it is the weightage of this chapter is the maximum out of all the chapters in class 11 electronics, including paper 1 and paper 2. Any chapter you take, this particular chapter weighs the most. 30% of, to be precise, 30% of your marks depends on amplifiers chapter. It's very, very important and it's quite lengthy, and thankfully, but you guys are lucky. This year they have deleted some major parts of this chapter, and I have included whatever in my, if you can see the playlist, I think there are 5 parts before. All the 5 parts consist of topics which are there in your portion. I have not included which are deleted, so that will, avoid your confusion. Fine. So coming back to amplifiers, today we're going to discuss about feedback amplifiers. Feedback का क्या मतलब होता है? Feedback means if I, for example, I teach you something. Okay, if I teach you something and I'm going to deliver it to you. Okay, so this is the teacher, this is the student. Okay, so this is the teacher over here, and this is the student. Fine. So I am going to give you a lecture. You are listening to it, right? So this is the signal which is coming. I am learning it from somewhere, and I am going to give it to you. Fine. Now, I need to understand whether you are understanding it or no. Many kids like my videos, or they comment and say, ma'am, we have understood this. Some kids share few doubts. I try to reply to them personally, how much ever I can. Some kids mail me. So what I get from your side is known as a feedback, right? I give you the info. That is the signal which you have received. On the basis of what I teach, you're going to write the paper, right? You're going to give your exams. Depending on that, that is your output. Fine. And depending on what, before giving the exam, whatever input you are getting as a student, you're going to tell me, ma'am, I have understood. Thank you. Ma'am, this part was very nice. Thank you. Ma'am, I have a doubt in this section. Can you clear it? So this is known as feedback. What is that? That is known as feedback. Same thing happens with electronics also. Same thing happens with electronics. What happens? An input signal is given to an amplifier. Okay, and in this process of amplification, वो बंदा amplify कर देता है signal. वो जो इधर input signal है, input signal बहुत छोटा है, ठीक है? I want amplification, amplify हो जाता है, but part of this output is given back to the input as feedback. Okay, this is known as sampling. Okay, so it is the process of sampling a part of the output. Sampling means थोड़ा सा, पूरा का पूरा output देंगे क्या? नहीं. आप feedback के तौर पे मुझे पूरा का पूरा chapter सुनाओगे क्या? नहीं. You're just going to tell me whether it's good or what you've understood or what you've not understood, or your doubts, right? That is your feedback. Similarly, part of the output is given back to the input. That is known as sampling. Sampling a part of the output signal and applying back to the input. Now, why is this technique useful? Is it useful? Definitely it is useful. Why? Because this feedback is going to help me understand where I should improve, right? If you tell me, ma'am, there were some kids who told me, ma'am, we cannot see what you're writing on the board. What did I do? That was a feedback. What did I do? It helped me. I understood कि अच्छा बच्चों को नहीं दिख रहा है, so I should increase my font size, or I should do something about it, right? So I did it. So in electronics, how is this feedback going to help? This is going to help in voltage gain or input impedance, output impedance, etc. Impedance means resistance. Fine. So let us see how the block diagram looks like. The block diagram will look something like this. This is how the block diagram is going to look like. Okay, as I said, the amplifier input signal is given in your textbooks of class 11. Mixer is not given. This is a one level advanced, so you can there's no problem in using this block diagram as well. So input signal, it goes through a mixer. I'll tell you why this mixer is kept. It goes to an amplifier, and what is the amplifier going to do? Look at the amplitude. It was only this much. Now it has considerably increased. So amplification has done. Part of this amplifier is given to the feedback network. Okay, so this feedback network is going to give this feedback, and these two signals now, depending on the feedback, these two signals are going to mix together, and now a new input will be given to the amplifier. Okay, points to remember, very, very important point. Input and feedback signals are always in phase. In phase means दोनों एक जैसे दिख रहे हैं, right? Both are starting from 0. Fine, so they are in phase. Gain of this amplifier, you can say A. Okay, and gain of this, you can say beta or B. Gain. Okay, so this is about what you can say, feedback. Okay. So we'll see some theoretical part about feedback amplifiers. What did I say? It is a type where you get the output part, little part is given back to the input. Okay, so it's going to increase the strength, but at the same time, there are going to be added some noise signals. Some small noise signals may also enter the system by this feedback. Okay, let us see. So it is a basic design of amplifiers, like I said. Okay, the connection of these can be done in such a way that the output is fed back to the input. जैसे मैंने already कहा था, it increases the strength. ये मैंने already कहा था, and by increasing the strength, it will introduce noise. There can be, see, you have to understand that electronics में there is no noise-free system till date. Okay, practically देखा जाए तो छोटे noise signals कैसे भी enter हो ही जाते हैं. Fine. So this was about feedback amplifiers. अब सब फीडबैक पॉजिटिव रहेगा क्या? आप बहुत बड़े बड़े यूट्यूबर्स को भी देख लो, ऑल फीडबैक इज नेवर पॉजिटिव. ठीक है, सब कुछ लोग नेगेटिव फीडबैक भी देंगे. जैसे मेरे एक 12th के वीडियो के नीचे एक बंदे ने एक स्टूडेंट ने मैं स्क्रीनशॉट नहीं डालूंगी, I will not be taking any names also. एक बंदे ने डाला था वेंसडे को पेपर है और आप आज एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हो. बट वो स्टूडेंट को मैं बोलना चाहूंगी, अगर आपने वो डेट, वो वीडियो किस दिन पब्लिश हुआ था, अगर वो देखें तो आपको समझ में आ जाता है, आपका आंसर उसी में है. एटलीस्ट 6 to 7 months पहले ही मैंने मेरा 12th का पोर्शन सब चैप्टर का सब वीडियो डाल के खत्म कर दिया है. आप आज देख रहे हो, that doesn't mean I have put my video now, right? So negative feedback भी आता है, positive feedback भी आता है कि मैम we have understood. Some negative feedbacks जैसे मैंने बताया वैसे भी आता है. So you should not be, you have to take that feedback. It's not that उसको वो एक positive feedback, negative feedback दोनों is even wherever you go, even for you when you're performing something or you're doing something, you will get positive feedback and you'll get negative feedback also, right? Same thing happens with amplifiers also. You have positive feedback and negative feedback also. Now I'll explain what is positive feedback and negative feedback. Okay. Now positive feedback मतलब ये अपना जो सिग्नल है ये एम्प्लीफिकेशन के बाद बड़ा हो जाएगा, राइट? उसका थोड़ा सा पार्ट मैंने फीडबैक में डाल दिया. ठीक है, दोनों मिक्स हो गए और मिक्स होने के बाद भी मुझे बड़ा ही सिग्नल दिख रहा है. I am getting an increase in the amplitude. देखा, increase, I am getting an increase after feedback. Then it is positive feedback. ठीक है, feedback के बाद मेरा confidence और बढ़ गया. That means it is positive feedback. मतलब इसका amplitude और बढ़ गया feedback के बाद. Then it is positive feedback. On the other hand, if छोटा signal था एम्पलीफाई हुआ, बड़ा सिग्नल हो गया, बड़े सिग्नल में से थोड़ा मैंने फीडबैक दिया और फीडबैक को मैंने इनपुट के साथ ऐड किया। अब ये जो न्यू सिग्नल है, फीडबैक के बाद अगर मेरा सिग्नल थोड़ा छोटा हो रहा है, मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस कम हो रहा है, एम्पलीट्यूड अगर थोड़ा सा कम हो रहा है, देन इट इज नेगेटिव फीडबैक। ओके फाइन। सो पॉजिटिव फीडबैक, मिक्सिंग के बाद एम्पलीट्यूड बढ़ाएगा, देन इट इज पॉजिटिव फीडबैक। नेगेटिव फीडबैक, इफ एनी इंक्रीज इन द आउटपुट सिग्नल, और वो फीडबैक जाने के बाद डिक्रीज होता है, मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द आउटपुट सिग्नल विल इफ डिक्रीज होता है, मिक्सिंग के बाद जो सिग्नल आता है उसको एम्पलीफायर के आउटपुट पे अगर मिक्सिंग के बाद चेक कर रहे हो, फीडबैक के बाद अगर थोड़ा डिक्रीज हो रहा है आउटपुट में, देन दैट इज नेगेटिव फीडबैक। ओके, आप कैसे याद रखोगे? पॉजिटिव फीडबैक, फीडबैक के बाद मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस अगर बढ़ा रहा है, दैट मीन्स एम्पलीट्यूड बढ़ा रहा है, देन इट इज पॉजिटिव फीडबैक। अगर फीडबैक के बाद मेरा अगर थोड़ा सा सिग्नल आउटपुट पे कम हो रहा है, कॉन्फिडेंस कम हो रहा है, मुझे थोड़ा बुरा लग रहा है, देन इट इज नेगेटिव फीडबैक। ओके, सो we'll just see how it is. Here it is. Fine. What I just now said is written over here. What is AOL? AOL means open loop gain. Okay, gain को कौन से लेटर से डिनोट करते हैं? A. और OL मतलब ओपन लूप। यहाँ पे कोई लूप है क्या? नहीं है, इसीलिए इसको ओपन लूप बोलते हैं। और बीटा इज द गेन ऑफ द फीडबैक network. Okay, so positive feedback is a process that occurs in the feedback loop which exacerbates the effects of a small disturbance. That means it will increase the output. Okay, and over here it tends to reduce the fluctuations, so it is positive in some point, at some point. How? अगर कुछ फ्लक्चुएशंस है, अगर नॉइज सिग्नल है, वो उसका एम्पलीट्यूड कम हो जाएगा, है ना, नेगेटिव फीडबैक से। सो इवन दो यू आर कंपेयरिंग इट विथ रियल लाइफ, बट इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स both the feedbacks are useful. Okay, one more thing, in negative feedback, like I said पहले in phase था, signal can be out of phase, उल्टा हो गया ना ये, right? So it can be out of phase as well. Fine. So I'll just show you that as well. And then see, input and the feedback are in phase in positive feedback, but in negative feedback, they are out of phase. Fine. So this was all about feedback amplifiers. Now only the last part of the chapter is left, that is differential amplifiers or difference amplifiers. Before that, let us understand the advantages of this. Okay. And one more thing. Now, there is a small formula which you need to derive in this particular feedback amplifiers. We will do that as well. Okay. Okay, let us start. Now, the basic amplifier, we will have to name it as, here it is VS. Okay, I will name it as VI because in your textbooks it is VI. I don't want you all to get confused. So I will write here VI. Okay, VI is the input signal. Output signal is VO. Okay, so in open loop system, if there is no loop, gain क्या होगा? Gain मैंने हमेशा बोला है, you always need to remember this for class 12 also. Gain means output upon input. So output voltage upon input voltage. This is open loop gain. Okay, fine. Now अभी feedback आ गया. Fine. और फीडबैक में मैंने क्या बताया था? एक इसका फैक्टर होगा बीटा, दैट इज फीडबैक फैक्टर। फाइन। तो ये किससे बनेगा? ये फीडबैक नेटवर्क में क्या क्या होगा? रेजिस्टेंसेस होंगे, इंडक्टर होगा, कैपेसिटर हो सकता है, ठीक है, जनरली वो रेजिस्टेंसेस रहता है उसमें, बट RLC तीनों कंपोनेंट यूज हो सकता है उसमें, ठीक है ना। अभी ये जो सिग्नल वी आउटपुट सिग्नल से थोड़ा इसमें जाएगा और बाहर आएगा तो क्या होगा? वो बीटा के साथ जुड़ के आएगा, बीटा इंटू V0। सो व्हाट इज द फीडबैक? फीडबैक पाथ में क्या मिलेगा हमको? बीटा इंटू V0 इज द आउटपुट वोल्टेज दैट इज फेड बैक इनटू द इनपुट। ओके, नाउ दिस इज अ क्लोज्ड लूप सिस्टम। ये क्लोज्ड लूप सिस्टम है क्योंकि लूप हो रहा है। अगर ये फीडबैक नेटवर्क यहाँ पे नहीं होता, देन इट बिकम्स ओपन लूप। उसका गेन क्या होगा? ये जो मैंने यहाँ पे दिया है वो होगा, ठीक है। बट यहाँ पे तो अभी फीडबैक है, तो दैट इज क्लोज्ड लूप, एंड क्या होगा, इनपुट पे क्या ऐड हो रहा है, यहाँ पे इनपुट पे ऐड हो रहा है बीटा इंटू V0 एंड Vi ऑल्सो। ठीक है, तो टोटल इनपुट क्या हो जाएगा, टोटल इनपुट को मैं Vi डैश लिखूंगी। ओके, Vi डैश विल बी Vi. Now here I am considering negative feedback. Okay, so feedback signal will be negative and I am considering this as positive. So what will be the net new input? That is Vi minus Vf. Please understand here that Y minus sign is taken. It is, the signal is definitely added, no doubt, but I'm taking negative feedback. Okay, that is why it is minus. Okay, so minus Vf. Fine. So this is Vi minus Vf is going to be the new signal. That means Vi minus, what is the feedback signal? Feedback signal kya hai? Beta into V0, that is V out. Okay. Now what will be the new gain? New gain को मैं A dash बोलूंगी. New gain क्या होगा? Closed loop system का क्या होगा? V out upon Vi dash, है ना? New आएगा, new वाला जो input है उसका आएगा gain closed loop में, right? So that will be V out upon Vi dash क्या है? Vi minus beta into V0 or V out. Fine. I'm just continuing over here because there is no space. I will be continuing over here. Okay. So we are just going to solve this now. Fine. So I will not write A dash. I will write just A. Okay. I will write A. I'm cross multiplying it. Vi minus beta, okay, into V out is equal to, I'm just cross multiplying, nothing else, is equal to V out. Let's get all the, let's multiply A into the bracket, that is A into Vi minus A beta into V out, which is equal to V out again. Okay, fine. Now what we're going to do, we are going to bring all the V out together. V out वालों को एक साथ लाना है हमें. So AVI is equal to V out plus, I am taking the other person to the other side. So plus हो जाएगा, minus का plus हो जाएगा. A into beta into V out. V out will be common, which can be written as V out into bracket 1 plus A beta. Okay. So what is the final gain? Gain will be V out. I'm taking inverse AVI is equal to VO है, तो मैं क्या करूंगी, VO upon VI के फॉर्म में करूंगी. To avoid confusion मैं एक और स्टेप ऐड कर देती हूँ. फाइनल क्या है अपना, फाइनल है ये, right? Just copy paste it. Right? अभी मुझे क्या चाहिए, गेन चाहिए. तो गेन के लिए क्या होता है, VO upon VI होता है. चलो ठीक है, VO upon VI करते हैं. So VO, इसको मैं सॉल्व करूंगी तो VO डिवाइडेड बाय VI उल्टा हो जाएगा इसका, इज इक्वल टू A upon 1 plus A into beta. This is known as the gain with feedback. This particular gain is known as the gain of the amplifier with the feedback. Feedback का short form है F/B. Okay, so you need to remember this formula without fail. You have to remember this formula is very, very important. Okay, fine. Is this clear? Now, one important thing which we need to understand here is one thing which we need to understand over here in this case is positive and negative feedback. Positive feedback, I told you it increases the output. So the gain is the after feedback wala gain increases than the previous gain. Okay, so what is the advantage? The gain of the amplifier increases. Fine. And what are the disadvantages in this case? Gain is not stable. Fine. सो डिस्टॉर्शन में इंक्रीज, क्योंकि नॉइज सिग्नल भी आ गया, गेन इंक्रीज हो रहा है, सिग्नल भी बढ़ेगा, उसके साथ नॉइज सिग्नल भी बढ़ जाएगा, है ना. बट हाउएवर दिस इज यूज्ड इन ऑसिलेटर्स. ओके. नेगेटिव फीडबैक का कैसा है? फीडबैक के बाद आपका गेन कम हो जाएगा क्योंकि सिग्नल रिड्यूस हो रहा है. Okay, so it is, what is the advantage? It improves the stability, input impedance increases, distortion, noise कम हो सकता है, noise signal नहीं बढ़ेगा इस केस में. Fine. So, but the disadvantage is that the gain decreases. Fine. So that's it for today. Have a great day, and we will continue in the next class with the differential amplifier. Thank you.